Hello, thank you for joining us for the Astrology and Spirituality Show for Saturday, the 27th of February. Of course, it's a full moon today in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is very much about practicality, about details, about organisation, and in terms of our health, it's very much about the physical exercise we do, the nutrients we put in our body. And on the other side of the heavens, the sun in the sign of Pisces is more concerned with the more spiritual realm, the more psychological dimension. So if there is a bit of a health niggle going on in our situations over the next couple of weeks, this is a great time to realign. So if we're rather too focused on the physical plane, not to ignore the fact that there could be an emotional dimension, or if we're someone who's very focused on the emotional dimension, we need to still make sure that we're doing things in an organised way, that we're living our lives as purely as we possibly can. And of course, that's pretty impossible to do all the time when those calorific goodies call out to us, as they often do. But you'll get my drift. But Uranus is forging a very positive angle to both positions. So however we look at things, this is an opportunity to reform them by being open-minded, which comes from Uranus. But Saturn in Aquarius is in a quincunx with the moon position. That's 150 degrees. And that's quite awkward, to be honest. So I think in terms of trying to find this better alignment, we just need to be aware of how we link to other people, which I think is very much Saturn in Aquarius, and also about our own individuality, which I think Aquarius is very strong around too. So, Elisa, I see you've got the thought for the day jar out today.
Yeah, we haven't used this for a little bit,
so brilliant.
I'm going to give it a shake and see what comes out for our moon. Right. Oh, there's two. So, it's one. It's one. Okay. So, we've had this one before, and the word on this is holding grudges.
Are we going to go with this, or are we going to dip again, so to speak?
Yeah, we've had this conversation a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, because we had it through guilt as well, didn't we?
Yeah, so I think, why don't you pick one?
Okay,
yeah.
I will. Closing my eyes.
I know, I'm looking away.
Right, we've had gratitude before, but I picked up three, so laughter we've had before. Justice. Right, justice. Multiple choices here.
It's like when you get like a jar of sweets and you're like, I don't like that one, I don't like that one. Okay, justice. This is a good theme. So justice can mean, I think, it's about closure in some ways, because when we get justice from something, it feels like we've been validated. It feels like we've been heard in some respect. If someone's wronged us in, a criminal way, and we go to court, and that person is prosecuted or sentenced, there is a form of justice with that, because there is an accountability put on that person, even if they don't put it on themselves. So justice in all of our lives is about us being recognised as well for maybe a struggle that we've been through. For maybe someone saying, you helped me through a really difficult time, thank you.
So seeing the perspective on the situation,
yeah.
Even if it's a difficult situation, getting the big picture and seeing the perspective.
Definitely. And I think justice isn't about us going around giving people their, just desserts. It's about something very personal, because one person's justice might feel different to another person's justice.
Well, different countries and different states have different laws, don't they? So what might be completely illegal in one part of the world might be completely legal in another part of the world. So the justice card can have very different meanings in those territories. What about the legal system in a more practical way? So if the justice card came up in an outcome situation for someone who was thinking of entering into a contract, what would you say that would be about?
Anytime we pull the justice card, and if we're in any kind of legal dispute, like you said, or anything where we have to do anything with details, it's likely to go in our favour. So pulling this card in a tarot deck is actually a really, really positive thing to happen, because it means that justice will out. That doesn't always mean we get 100% of what we want. Let's take a compensation, claim, for example. but it does mean that there is a fair compromise that we feel really good about.
Could it also be that if someone isn't behaving in a fair way, that their comeuppance will come?
Yes, and it's about leaving that to karma, if you will. Now, karma is a spiritual practice within its own. It's not just about what goes around comes around. There are many different stages to karma, and that is a whole, thing that people practice. So I'm massively well versed in the stages of karma, but things do work out. If we think about a cause and effect, we cannot take an action or say something without there being some kind of cause and effect to it. So
I think one of the difficult things about the whole concept of karma is that we don't necessarily see how that comes back to people in a proportionate way. So it might ultimately have an effect on them, but not necessarily in the way that we would like it to have an effect on them, because it might be some years before their behaviour eventually catch up with them. And of course there are some political leaders in certain states of the world that have tended to be in charge for a very long time in a very draconian way, a very authoritative and restrictive way, and they still keep getting away with it somehow. So there doesn't seem to be much justice or karma going on there, does there?
But I think that when society changes, these things come up more. Like if we think about the whole Me Too movement, for example, well, more and more celebrities are being held accountable for their actions, both men and women, and not just within their personal relationships, but with their financial affairs, with lots of different things. People are being held under a bit more scrutiny.
Yeah, because some big stars have lost major contracts on advertising and things like that when their conduct has been exposed.
Yeah, so I think we're at the start of there being more transparency between...
More accountability.
Yeah, the people that have power and the people that perhaps feel like they don't. I feel like that is slow. I feel like we're at the beginning of that.
That's absolutely fantastic. And with that full moon, of course, having Venus moving into Pisces, as well as Neptune and the Sun there as well, that's a glorious trio of influences. But it's also quite sort of dreamy, potentially, can be a little bit less ordered. So the Virgo energy can be good to give us the push to be a bit more structured, but at the same time, we can't let the need for perfection, if you like, which can come through Virgo, pulverise our passion. So if there is a dream that we really want to go for, I just think that point of influence that comes from Saturn is like an anchor, just saying, just be aware of the wider implications of whatever we're doing at the present time. But if you'd like to watch the deep dive video and get your zodiac sign forecast for this next 2 weeks on the back of this Virgo full moon, please see underneath this video. And if you'd like to read your free daily horoscope, please see that below. But from the A team, it is...
Goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her. Goodbye.